Good. How are you? Happy New Year.
Right. Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Turpin's got a lot of returns. I think he leads the league in kick returns this year, but his average is down a little bit. Can you pinpoint why that is?
Yeah.
Is it because of the number of returns or something they're doing to him?
No, I mean, we get a lot of kick returns, but, I mean, the first thing I think of is penalties. I think we've gotten past the 53 times, and all three of those have had penalties. We just had one past the 40. So, I mean, it's a number of things. It starts with that, though, is the penalties, because we're ranked pretty high still in penalties.
Is it because of the ins and outs of your business at special teams, or it's just...
Yeah, I mean...
One time you said, hey, we got to get off the hold, in a sense, you know?
Yeah, I mean, don't get a penalty. And if you're getting held, don't get held. So I think we just got to be better with clean hands and stuff like that. And, you know, last game it was making a decision. Maris had one block in the back. And so it's never one person in particular. It's just that's the first thing that comes to my mind is, you know, we had some big returns and they got erased with penalties. I think which is frustrating for everyone and probably Turpin in particular too.
Clarence Hill deal with Cowboys. Looks like where the running back rotation is going with the injury that Jaden Blue may get some time this week. What can he do on special teams to take his game to the next level? I know one thing that the other running back does is because he plays special teams person punt protector. I don't know if that's ever been part of Jaden Blue's game. You know, what can he do?
It hasn't, but we've trained him at a lot of different spots. You know, we've trained him. He's gotten reps at PP, at gunner. You know, a lot of guys, they got to learn when you get to the league, especially, you know, guys that have been, you know, prominent guys in college. That's just how it is. You don't get a lot of reps in special teams, and those guys that figure it out quick, if you're not the starter, that's a good way to be up. And then when you're up, you get chances like, you know, someone gets hurt in the game. You don't get a chance to run for 100 yards like Malik did if you're not up. So, you know, he's capitalized on that, and I think Blue can do the same thing if he gets his chance.
Size issue with tackling and doing some of those things on special teams?
Size, yeah, it's important. Obviously, you like guys that have size and, you know, long arms and, you know, all that stuff. But I don't think it can stop a guy from being a good football player.
Nick Sorensen with ESPN on Turpin in the returns. Has his vision been okay in your mind? I mean, have there been opportunities for you to maybe do some better, have some better returns? But
it's tough to do the hindsight thing sometimes. I mean, when you slow it down and do all that stuff, sometimes you're like, oh man, but he's made a lot of guys miss too, and he's done it in his career, and he's done it this year, where, you know, I think there's been such an emphasis change too that you get a lot, you know, bigger guys on kickoff coverage, some better guys that play a lot more, I think, than in the past, at least couple of years, particularly last year when it was a lot of touchbacks, that I think it's been tougher. But I think his vision's been good. We just, like I said, he's had some big returns, just the three of them that get past the 50 get taken back because of penalties. So that's you know, some of them were close, you could say 50-50, but I think he's been fine with that, and we still have one more game, so we'll see. We get another op.
is this last game a hard game because you might have different moving pieces with guys, you know, Blue hasn't played in a long time, you have injuries and things like that, or do you mix and match more here in week 18?
I think it's just depends on the week. Yeah. It's just, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think generally, yeah, later in the year it can be harder because that attrition happens and guys get hurt. But I think that's fun too. We've talked about that in here also. I think that's the fun challenge of it, and you have to be good at identifying who can do certain things and train guys ahead of time so that they're ready for that opportunity. So it's just harder, I think, not because it's week 18 or anything like that. It's later in the year. You usually have more injuries.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. Turpin punt returns. There's been a lot inside the 20 that, you know, some of them are just good punts, some of them are decision things. What have been the coaching points around that and trying to get it outside of the 20?
Not have sky punts would be the start. I mean, it's tough. We've had some really good punts against us. You know, there's a line of demarcation. He shouldn't fair catch it because a lot of times those bounce in. There's been some fortunate hops for them as well. Teams have done a good job covering, but, you know, how that ball hits the ground and then if it sticks or goes in the end zone, I think he's made good decisions on when he should fair catch and when he shouldn't, because you don't, you know, if he's in here fair catching at the 4-yard line, you'd be like, why are we doing that? I think he's good. He's made good decisions in those.
So it felt like a lot of bad luck with a lot of these bounces too on some of these punts.
Sometimes. I mean, I don't want to take away that there's good execution by these punters too. These guys are really good, so I think it starts with their skill over luck.
Then obviously the best way on the roster is special teams. Practice squad guys this year, who have you seen from beginning to end?
Say that from the beginning?
Practice squad guys. Obviously the best way to get on the roster is through special teams. Who have you? What are some guys that have really taken the next step forward in special teams, maybe have a good shot next year?
I think we'll find out. I mean, it's tough to say right now, but I think there's guys you want to watch, and, we'll see. The guys that have gotten their chances, like Malik is a great example of someone when he got his opportunity, he's made the most of it, and then guess what? Now he goes and plays running back, and he's made the most of that.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Is there enough of a sample size yet to know what a successful kickoff return is? Does it have to get beyond the 30? Is it like 28, 29-yard line? Is there any sort of spot where you're like, okay, that was good, and obviously like anything inside the 25 would be bad, I guess? How do you look at that?
Yeah, you're always, I think, greedy as a coach when you talk to your players. I always want to tackle them around the 25, or in. Sometimes it's the kick. If the guy drops, it's dirty. Those are obvious ones, but you'd like to start out past the 35. I think the really explosive ones are past the 40, and those are cool. Those don't happen as much. And yeah, we'd like to give our offense the ball inside the 50, but I think it all kind of starts around the 30. You know what I mean? In realistic terms, but we're always shooting to get to that 35, and being greedy and wanting to have a high standard, you'd like to tackle them at the 25 or in if you can. But that depends a lot on the kick. Sometimes that ball hangs up and they catch it at the 8 and he can get going. They're obviously closer. He gets a really good one. Our kicker or their kicker, and it's landing right at the 1, where we're catching it. All those things play into it.
Anybody else? No? Good?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.